from Arkansas's #1 trusted source for weather. This is a severe weather alert.
Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. Good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm going to give you guys a live coverage on this tornado warning that we've got right now for far northeastern Ashley County and much of Chico County at this current time. This is going to go from Montrose, Portland, and also the Lake Village area here. So we've been monitoring this storm over the last couple of minutes here as it was in Ashley County. It did have its severe thunderstorm warning to a pause. Now it's upgraded to a tornado warning here. So let's go ahead and talk about the latest information with the tornado warning here. So maybe for just a second, there's a tornado warning in place. Like I mentioned before, it's going to go for northern Chico County and northeastern Ashley County until 2:45 this evening. At 1:51, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Montrose, or 13 miles west of Lake Village, moving east at about 25 miles per hour. Lake Village, I'm going to put you guys right around that 2:15, 2:20 time frame. So if you're out in lunch or you're doing something out and about, you do need to take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to you on the outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately. Also, I will say areas near Greenville, I would watch that area as well, especially as the system continues to move on towards the east at about 25 miles per hour here. So what we're going to do for just a little bit, I'm going to switch this over to our rotation indicator here, and you can definitely see where your green and your red combine as one. It is right just to the northwest of Portland or southwest of Montrose, moving east at about 25 miles per hour. So Lake Village, Greenville, you definitely need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. This should stay south of Jerome. However, in Jerome, I'd go ahead and seek your shelters just to be on the safe side at this current point here. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a track on this potential tornadic storm here. Like I mentioned before, it's been something we've been dealing with over the last 24 hours. It's these brief, weak tornadoes that spin up along the line, and this is what we've got at this current point coming out of Ashley County and going straight into Chico County at this current time. You guys also have a tornado watch over there until about 5 o'clock this evening, but I do believe it is going to expire before 5 o'clock here. So I'm going to put it about, I know it says 25, but I'm going to go ahead and go about 30 miles per hour to kind of give my folks in Greenville a little bit of a heads up. So Montrose, it's going to be on top of you with the next couple of minutes. Lake Village, it's going to be right around that 2:30 time frame. So if you know anyone in Lake Village or in the Greenville area, they do need to take their tornado precautions immediately. And also, like I mentioned before, Greenville, it's going to be right around that 3 o'clock time frame and maybe a little bit faster than that. However, if you're in Montrose, Lake Village, or in Greenville area, you do need to take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. So we're going to zoom this down. Like I mentioned before, this is well to the east of Crosset at this point. This is south and east of Fountain Hill. This is east of Hamburg, south of Jerome. This is west and southwest of Lake Village at this current time, and it's moving towards that area. So Montrose and Lake Village, you definitely need to seek your safe place immediately here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to what we call our debris indicator, and right now I'm not seeing any solid evidence of this thing on the ground or anything like that, but you have to use caution, especially with situations like this, because if the tornado does touch down, it's going to be very, very brief. It's not going to be these long, sustained tornadoes that we saw back in March and in April. These are going to be these weak, brief tornadoes that are not going to last long. So the debris indicator may not even show anything until it touches down, and then once it lifts back up, the debris is gone, right? So we have to keep that in mind if you're in the Montrose area or you're in Lake Village area. Don't wait for it to get over you or anything like that. Don't go outside and try to get footage of it. You definitely need to take your tornado precautions immediately at this current point. So we're going to go back over to our reflectivity here, and I'm going to zoom this out to kind of give you guys like a visual on what's going on. So Louisiana has stolen the show for the most part in terms of the severe weather threat for today. We've been concerned for our folks in southern Arkansas all morning long about the potential of seeing tornadoes and also potential of flash flooding. We've had several reports near the El Dorado area, and then we also have reports up there near the Hot Springs area as well this morning. Most of the severe weather has been in the Louisiana vicinity, where we've had 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts and also several tornado warnings this morning. This is the first tornado warning of the day for us here in Arkansas for Ashley and Chico County. We had one last night. which is in Union County last night here. So, as I mentioned before, Lake Village, Montrose, Greenville, not Greenwood, Greenville, you definitely need to take your tornado precautions immediately. And I would say downstream, my folks over here in western Mississippi, that's going to be near the Greenwood area, south of Cleveland. Keep an eye on this. That's going to be near Highway 1 over here. There's Highway 165 at this point. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to get to you guys some road networks up so you guys can kind of see where this potential tornado is going to be. So that's going to be right there on Highway 1. I know 165 runs through there as well. We can zoom this down and kind of show you where this area of rotation is going to be. So we're going to go back over to our rotation indicator, and I'm going to move this out of the way for just a little bit. And like I mentioned before, based off of radar, it's not the most impressive presentation. You know, back in March and April, we saw these really defined areas of rotation where it was producing these tornadoes here. This one, more broadened out. However, the concern is that it could produce a weak or a weak/brief tornado at any given moment. So north of Portland, right over Montrose. Montrose, you're going to be seeing it at this particular moment. Lake Village, you do not have a lot of time here. Lake Village, I would say probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes is going to be moving towards that area. So right now it is just south of Highway 82. I would dare say it's probably over 82 by this point, and it's going to move to the east at about 25 miles per hour. So it's going to continue along 82, and it's going to cross over Highway 144, and then it's going to try to make its way over to the Mississippi River, and it's going to cross over the Mississippi River and go into western Mississippi, like I mentioned before, near the Greenville area, and then also areas over here near Highway 1. So if you know anyone in these areas, primarily in the Lake Village area or the Greenville area or the Montrose area, they need to seek their tornado precautions immediately. But what I mean by seeking tornado precautions, that's getting away from the exterior walls, getting away from the windows, and putting as many walls between yourself and the potential tornado as much as you can. And if that is not available to you, what I would recommend, I know a lot of people live in mobile homes or in trailers and stuff like that. The best advice I would say, especially if you're in Lake Village, go try to find a grocery store somewhere more sturdier than a mobile home. If that is not possible, then what I want you to do is grab a pillow or a helmet or something to protect your head, because that's going to be where the most injuries come from, is head trauma. So you always want to protect your head, especially in situations like this. So like I mentioned before, tornado warning in place for northeastern Ashley County and northern Chico County at this current point. I'm not seeing anything in terms of confirmed tornado reports or anything like that, which is awesome. Double checking Twitter right now. I think we're safe on that at this moment here. You guys know full well, whenever there's a tornado warning, you always want to say, hey, it could potentially be on the ground or it's already on the ground and you need to seek shelter immediately. Don't wait for it to get confirmed before you seek action at this point. So Montrose, Lake Village, along 65 at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this back over, like I mentioned before, to our debris indicator. And right now, just based off what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any strong indications that this thing is on the ground doing damage and stuff like that, which is amazing news. However, this is warned for the potential of a weak tornado, so keep that in mind. That's going to be areas just south and west of Montrose, and it's going to be moving towards the Lake Village area and towards Greenville. So if you know anyone in these areas, they do need to take their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to uni outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this point. And the one thing I do want to stress to you guys at this time, this is not in northern Arkansas or in central or in western or anything like that. This is in far southeastern Arkansas, northeastern Ashley County, and north central Chico County at this point. It's going to go right over 65. It's going to go right over Montrose, Lake Village, and over towards the Greenville area at this current point. As I mentioned before, not only the tornado threat, but we are continuing to monitor the flooding threat. And I'm thinking Drew County, Bradley County, Ashley County over here, as this heavy rainfall continues, I would not be shocked to see additional flash flood warnings get issued. So if you're planning on traveling later on, I would say within the next hour to 3 hours, be mindful of there's going to be some roadways that are flooded, especially over in Union County, Bradley County. We're going to have to watch you guys, Ashley County and Drew County. at this point. So keep that in mind if you're planning on traveling. Remember, turn around and do not drown in flooded if you come across a flooded roadway here. But this is where the ongoing tornado warning is going to be at this time. Northeastern Ashley County and north central Chico County at this point. Lake Village, you definitely need to seek shelter immediately. And the biggest thing is, and you're looking on radar, and you're like, where in the world could this potentially produce a tornado? Because it, on the presentation wise, it doesn't look impressive. Well, in this particular situation, in this particular setup, these showers that you're seeing, these heavier bands that you're seeing, could easily spin up, and it can easily produce brief tornadoes at this point. So Montrose, hang on just a little bit longer, get your safe place, stay there for about another 15 to 20 minutes. Lake Village, I want you to go ahead and seek your safe place just to be on the safe side. 165 as well if you're planning on traveling, either going north of Lake Village on 65 or you're planning on going 82 across the Mississippi River. Find a gas station or a grocery store or something like that to seek shelter at this current point. But this is going to go for all the Lake Village down here in far southeastern Arkansas and Chico County here. And this is the area that we've been monitoring all morning long. You guys are under that tornado watch until 5 o'clock this afternoon here. And like I mentioned before, this is not only going to affect far southeastern Arkansas, but if you know anyone that is on 82 coming out of Chico County going towards the Greenville area and going towards western Mississippi, give those folks a heads up as well. Also, you're going to have to watch out for the 60 to 70 mile per hour winds coming out of Louisiana at this point going into western Mississippi here. So right now, this is what we've got going, that ongoing tornado warning in Chico County. I'm going to zoom this out so you guys get a perspective on what's going on across the state. This is coming to an end. I know a lot of people have been weary of the heavy rainfall and the severe weather. This is coming to an end. The clearing line is coming through western Arkansas at this point. It's going to be coming through central Arkansas within the next hour to hour and a half here. So we should be ending this pretty quickly. I think this will probably be our only tornado warning of the day, given that the majority of the severe weather has stayed south of Arkansas, which we've been fortunate. Unfortunately for those folks in Louisiana, they've had to deal with it all morning long. But I think this is going to be the one and only warning we deal with throughout the day. We are monitoring a few little showers and a few thunderstorms up here in central and eastern Arkansas. Some of those little cells up here, I've gotten a few reports of land spouts being produced up here near the Perry County area, the Woodruff County area, and also White County. So keep that in mind. Land spouts typically don't do a lot of damage, but something that just kind of keep an eye on. And also, like I said before, anything happens up there, we'll let you guys know. But I do believe this is probably going to be the only tornado warning of the day down here in far southeastern Arkansas, as the majority is leaving out. But Montrose, Lake Village, Highway 65, you definitely need to seek your tornado precautions immediately here. Now, we can take a look at the area of rotation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this down so you guys get a perspective of where it is. So it's going to be right there in 82. Still over Montrose. It's only moving about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So Lake Village, you have roughly about 25 minutes before this thing's on top of you. So you have the time to get into your safe places. If you're working and stuff like that, you have time to get those employees to those safe places just to be on the safe side. Like I mentioned before, we're not expecting this thing to be, a widespread tornado issue. However, this thing can produce a weak and brief tornado. And a tornado, at the end of the day, is a tornado and can produce damage. So keep that in mind if you're in the Montrose area or your Lake Village area. So you do need to take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to uni outside as possible and get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this point. So I'm double checking everything in terms of reports. I'm not seeing a thing in terms of it being confirmed or anything like that, which is amazing news. Whenever you deal with any tornado warnings, you always don't want to hear about the damage or anything like that. You want it to be radar indicated. You want it to be, something that doesn't touch down, and they want it just to be on the safe side. So right now, not hearing any damage reports or anything like that, but that doesn't mean anything. You still need to take your tornado precautions just to be on the safe side at this point. So what I'm going to do for just a second, I'm going to show you guys where exactly this area of rotation is going to be. And give me just 1 second. Let me see if I can zoom this down. And it's going to be right over Montrose at this point. I mean, it's very, very broad in nature. That's where the area of rotation is going to be. I'd be very surprised to see what they're going to end up doing with this tornado warning, given the fact that it is very broad. However, with it being so far away from Jackson's radar, it is very, very difficult to see what's going on truly with this area of rotation here. So, tornado warning is in place. Montrose, you need to be in shelter. 293, you need to be in shelter. 144, that's going to be 65 over here. That's also 82, that's going to go towards Greenville. You need to be taking your tornado precautions at this point. But right now, the area of rotation is relatively broad. Let me do this. I'm going to go over to our gate-to-gate product real fast here. And we're going to take a look and see if we're seeing anything here. So right now, like I said before, pretty disorganized. Not the most organized thing we've seen. You know, with the previous events, we've seen them more consolidated and stuff like that. However, that doesn't mean anything. If you're in Montrose or in Lake Village or in Greenville, you need to take your tornado precautions immediately. And I want to stress this right now. This is not in Central Arkansas. This is not in Northern Arkansas or West or Eastern Arkansas. This is in far, far southeastern Arkansas. The far two counties down there in southeastern Arkansas, that's Ashley and Chico County at this point. So if you're tuning in, trying to figure out what's going on, this is for our folks down here in Lake Village. We cover the entire state of Arkansas. We're not limited to just central or northern Arkansas or anything like that. We cover all of Arkansas, and that does include the small cities down here in southern and southeastern Arkansas here. So this is the latest scan of our gate-to-gate product here, and it's becoming a little bit more organized with the latest scan. You know, a while ago it was kind of, you know, broad now, a disorganized mess. Now it's starting to kind of consolidate near that Montrose area here. So that's something that we're going to have to monitor. I do believe they just dropped the tornado warning. Let me double check that and make sure. But I do believe they have dropped the tornado warning here. So the tornado warning has been canceled at this point. Let me see here. So from Trish, thank you, Dustin, for letting me know about this. There's been some damage on 82 between Unity Road and Hamburg. A couple of tree tops broke off and trees on power lines. So thank you for sending that report in. That could have been from this particular storm that went over 82 earlier on when it was severe thunderstorm warned. It'd be very interesting to see what ends up happening with that. We can go back and take a look at that. I do believe the tornado warning has been dropped, and rightfully so, because like I mentioned before, the area of rotation looked pretty disorganized via presentation. So severe thunderstorm warning still remains in effect. It is tornado possible at this current time. It's going to go until 2:15, so the next couple of minutes here. And I do believe they're going to let this go. And I think this is going to be the primary threat for the rest of today, because this is going to move out. The majority of the severe weather has been down in Louisiana, Mississippi. So I do believe that is going to be relatively it. That's why I'm saying the tornado watch may not even last all the way to 5 o'clock, because we're ending this pretty quickly. However, we will keep you guys updated. We will continue to monitor the situation very, very closely. And if any warnings get issued, you guys know full well that we'll be here. Okay, so I'm going to double check something real quick. I know this is back when it was tornado warned. I'm going to see what happened when it went right over 82. And I think that would be it. When it was coming out of Ashley County, right over 82, where it had that broad area of rotation. Let's see if I can go over to our gate-to-gate shear. I'm gonna double check this. And what I'm gonna do for just a moment here, because this was earlier on. This is not current or anything like that. I want to say it could have produced a brief tornado when it was in Ashley County. I have to double check. The problem is you're having right now is Little Rock's radar is north, you've got Shreveport to the west, and you've got Jackson to the east. So your radars kind of overlap. And far as southeastern Arkansas, they really need a radar down here, by the way. But their radars kind of overlap down here. So it's very difficult to kind of pinpoint what actually took place down here. Right now, I would not be shocked if it did produce a brief tornado, because I could see with our gate-to-gate earlier on, it did show some decent signs of rotation. Notice when you get those darker greens, that's showing that really good defined area of rotation. So I can't rule it out. Thank you, Trisha, for sending that in, by the way. But I can't rule out that there could have been a brief tornado over here in far eastern Ashley County or in western Chico County, something that we're going to have to monitor, and we'll let you guys know down the road. But as of right now, that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. That severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, is still there. So I'm going to remain on until this severe thunderstorm warning is allowed to expire, and then we'll go from there here. But the biggest thing is, I want to stress to you guys right now, especially my folks over there in Union County, you definitely need to pay attention if you're planning on traveling, especially on 82 right now. You can see the flash flood warnings, and some of these flash flood warnings, you can see considerable damage over here, where you've gotten upwards to 3 to 4 inches of rainfall over here in south central Arkansas. As a matter of fact, we can take a look at how much rainfall we've gotten over the last 24 hours here, and I'm going to have to go over to Shreveport's radar at this current point. Severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. That is awesome news at this point. So I'm going to go over here, and I know we had a considerable amount of rainfall over here earlier on, so I got to turn the radar off for just a moment, and I got to get this switched over to Shreveport at this point. Let me give me 1 second. Alright, give me 1 second, because it's showing Jackson's radar here, but I know you guys had about 2 to 3 inches of rain, locally higher amounts over here in Union County earlier on. Same thing up here in Hot Springs as well. So this is going to be coming to an end throughout much of the day today. I'm going to go over to our current radar at this point. Let's see if I can switch this back over to our radar at this point. And this is going to be moving, the clearing line is going to be moving through much of the state throughout the next couple of hours. You may actually see some sunshine over there in western Arkansas by the time we get towards, I'd say, that 2, 3, 4 o'clock p.m. time frame here. So there's all your storms moving in eastern Arkansas at this point. Nothing severe at this current time. Some of these storms, I'm going to zoom in to the Perry County and the Woodruff County area. Some of these little cells will be capable of producing land spouts. If you're not familiar with land spouts, there's a big difference between a land spout and a tornado. Land spouts typically don't do a lot of damage compared to a tornado. However, just something that we'll monitor over here in eastern Arkansas. If you get visual of it, let us know, sending in, and we'll get it posted on the page for Credit Give It To You. But the biggest thing I want to stress is I'm going to have to watch out for flooding, especially over here in Phillips. Over towards St. Francis County, we're going to have to watch for flooding over here, and all this activity is going to move through. We're going to be done with this within the next couple of hours, and then we should finally start to at least dry out as we get towards later on today and tomorrow. We do have additional thunderstorms we're going to have to watch out for tomorrow. We'll have more information about that coming up later on. No tornado threat tomorrow, mainly a hail and wind threat across the day here. So tornado warning has been dropped. Severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped. That's all I got for you guys at this particular moment. If anything occurs over the next couple of hours, we will be here, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.